Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and it is Top 5 Thursday, so we got a very interesting top 5 for you today. These are the top 5 tech champions that I think should be added into the game in 2021. So these are the champs that were missing from the game and ones I think could really add a little bit of an extra oomph to it. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about each character and what powers and abilities I think they should have. So without further ado, let's get the countdown started with the #1 spot going to Omega Sentinel. Now, she was on, the summoner vote, and unfortunately we got Hercules instead of Omega Sentinel, so boo. But Karima Shapender was once a police officer from India who was transformed into an Omega Prime Sentinel by Bastion of the Operation Zero Tolerance program. She had discovered that she was a Prime Sentinel, which is basically humans transform into sentinels and set up as quote-unquote sleeper agents, unaware of their programming until a nearby mutant activated them. So such as like Neil's usage of his mutant power, so to speak. Now, Omega Sentinel, this is what I think she could have. I think she could have something similar to Black Widow Deadly Origins, like Widow's Insight, dealing extra damage when punishing heavies and specials and intercepting. Also, all of her attacks would be energy damage and she would have an increased energy resistance. Also, she should have some sort of regen factor, maybe similar to Mr. Sinister's, where she regens off of crit hits, and each time she regens, she gains a durability charge and increasing her block proficiency by X% up to 100. #2 on the countdown goes to Lady Deathstrike. So Yuriko blamed Wolverine for the theft of her father's research and believed that Wolverine got his adamantium-coated skeleton through the use of said research. Now, she trained as a samurai and called herself Lady Deathstrike and led a group of her father's warriors to Canada to actually find and retrieve Wolverine's skeleton for study. But she was defeated when Wolverine was helped out by Vindicator and the members of Alpha Flight. Now, Lady Deathstrike is a cyborg and she's got pretty intense strength, speed, and agility. So her skeleton has been infused with adamantium, so she could be immune, to fatigue debuffs. She could get crit bleeds from her adamantium claws, and she should also get some sort of a rage buff. She could have a passive regen where she regens from blocked hits, much like Sorcerer Supreme, and also a slower regen where when she drops to 15% health, she heals 2% of her max health per rage stack. #3 on the countdown goes to Phantom X. Now, Phantom X is one of the more recent creations of the Weapon X program, or Weapon Plus program, I should say. He was born and artificially evolved in the world, which is an artificial world made for creating super soldiers using Sentinel technology. Now, Phantom X has an external nervous system named Eva, and so he could have some kind of cool, interesting abilities, maybe like an adaptive AI, similar to Elsa's evade mechanic. He could bring out the big guns. He should have a shock and a stun mechanic, or maybe even kind of like a randomizer buff, similar to how Venom Pool works. #4 on the countdown goes to Hobgoblin. So Roderick Kingsley discovered some of Norman Osborn's journals along with the Green Goblin equipment, and he was very intelligent. So he decided to become a criminal himself, even though he was in the fashion industry, but that's neither here nor there, and altered the Green Goblin costume and improved the Goblin equipment to become Hobgoblin. So he actually doesn't suffer the insanity that Green Goblin does. Now, Hobgoblin would obviously have similar powers to Green Goblin, although, like I said, since he is kind of fixed the insaneness, he wouldn't have the madness. And since the suit is bulletproof, he could have like a 90% bleed reduction and an increased armor up. #5 on the countdown goes to Deathlock. So when I'm talking about Deathlock, I'm talking about the John Kelly Deathlock, who was the first Deathlock from Earth 616, which is, of course, the main Marvel universe. Now, he was put in the Deathlock body, and so Deathlock could have, he would have energy-based attacks. His nanobots, think like Warlock's techno-organic charges, would allow him to shut down robots. He would also be immune to fatigue and disorient, and also show shock, incinerate, bleed, and poison immunities. Now, he would have an impressive regen similar to OG Wolvie since he is the way his cyborg is set up, and he would have an increased ability accuracy reduction and an evade similar to Lab Ultron, which we all know is a pesky evade, but I think it would make him really, really good. And what's a countdown without an honorable mention? And this week's honorable mention goes to Shocker. So Herman Schultz was a high school dropout who had brilliant talents as both an inventor and an engineer. But instead of using those talents to, gain a legitimate employment, he became a successful burglar. And according to him, the most successful safe cracker. Now, the Shocker wears a pair of gauntlets he designed with vibro shock units known as vibro smashers. And these can project concentrated blasts of compressed air that vibrate at an intense frequency. So clearly he would have like a nice armor break. He would have the ability also to cushion blows against him while passively causing stun on strike. At least that's how I see it. And based on how he is designed, he should actually be immune to Quake's aftershocks. But anyways, guys, that is all that I got for this week's top 5, the top 5 most wanted techs in 2021. Let me know in the comments below, do you agree with this list? Do you think these champs should be added to the game in 2021? Or is there another tech champion that you would like to see? Make sure you let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching and enjoy this quick word from Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and if you enjoyed the mediocre Mcoc video full of scrub gameplay, then show Katy some love by hitting like and subscribe, man. Katy don't ask for much. Katy did ask for this. Katy did. So do like Katy did and bug people and get you to like and subscribe, man. She's doing that Mcoc beautifully, not mediocre.